Okay, welcome to the after work video. During the lunchtime video, I got hung up on an issue, so I want to spend some time troubleshooting that right away, at least a half an hour. I could probably do a full hour. So let's go over what the issue was. So the issue was here. We're trying to modify the code so that once the job finishes, we get this JSONify results payload, which is down here, to display in the web browser. But I was having an issue with that. I couldn't get it to display in the web browser. I could only get this else statement. So clearly there was something going wrong with this job variable. The is finished was evaluating to Boolean false instead of Boolean true. So we were triggering this statement. So we'll dive into that and figure out how to get it to work. So I'm gonna switch over to the directory, and I'm just gonna open up Visual Studio Code right away. And the other nice thing about Visual Studio Code is if I need to run the Flask environment or something like that, I can just hide my terminals really easily by just opening a new one, and I don't have to manage multiple windows. So definitely recommend getting comfortable with Visual Studio Code. There are other ones like PyCharm, and then of course you can do a lot of similar functionality with just like Vi and Emacs. But for me, Visual Studio Code uh, has been nice. I think I've tried PyCharm before, and I just prefer Visual Studio Code. But granted, it's the one I've taken the most time to learn. So I don't really have I don't really recommend it over one over the other. But what I would say is if you can pick, like if you're on a team or you like work with a bunch of people and they're all using one, using the other is probably not the best way to go. You probably all want to agree on one to use and use that one. Otherwise, it just gets messy. But at the same time, if you're really a pro and everyone else is using something, you're using your own. It shouldn't matter that much. So I don't really have a lot of advice for which IDE to use, but I definitely advise using an IDE. And that's something I changed my mind on too. When I was first learning to code, I kind of didn't understand what IDEs were for. I thought like, if you were good enough at coding, you didn't really need one. And I still kind of think that, um, but this source control tool has been really nice. The run and debug is nice when you can get it to work. The extensions are nice. So I've kind of changed my opinion on that, but not all the way. I still think if you can open up the code just in Notepad, no formatting, no nothing, and understand what it does, and uh, you're like that's a good skill. Like to just rely on all your optimizations and tools um, isn't like those things are just kind of ice, like sprinkles on the cake, and the actual real meat and potatoes of it is actually understanding the code and what it does, whether it's in an IDE or not. All right, so let's start my development environment here. All right, so I'll do a control click on that, and we'll see that it takes us to the main page. But if I try to run something, we'll see it having an issue with that. And this is something I figured out how to address in the last issue. So we'll take a look at that error message again. And instead of getting hung up on it for a long time, I will resolve it immediately. So we'll go to realpython.com. And we see we've got an internal server error. So let's go to our, we don't need this window open anymore. Let's go to our output here. So we have an error connecting to localhost. 5001, connection refused. So we can see one of the things I did to try to resolve this error, and let's resolve the error before moving on. So the error is just that I need another, kind of like how I have Flask running by doing Flask run. I also need another service running, and it's called Redis uh, server. So I need my actual uh, server that's processing the back end stuff. Um, I need that running. Okay, now that's running. I can open a third shell, and we can see just how tighter and neater this is. Before I was going here and choosing different windows, choosing the wrong window, wasting time doing that. Here, it's all labeled. I can see exactly which one, and I can switch through them nice. So, okay, so now I'll go back to the web browser. Um, so, huh. Okay, and now I'll go to localhost 500, and now we'll see this work now, or it'll trigger the okay, well that's interesting. What happened there? What? Maybe it's because I'm not giving it a valid site. Let's just feed it Wikipedia. Yeah, I don't have a HTTPS, so maybe I don't have it. No, so that eliminates it. So yeah, it looks like it's another. Oh, and I got to get used to the fact that I'm doing this in Studio Code now. I don't know why. I don't know why these are together like that. Huh, that's interesting. Um, I kind of want to change the ports back. Um, so let's try that. So we'll do a git log one line with an e, and then um, so we should have a commit where I change the port. Hmm. Let's take a look at some of these commits. I think there's a commit where all I do is change the port. So we'll do a git show on this hash. Ah, yeah, here it is. So in this commit, all I did was I added this and I changed the port here. So let's revert that commit. Oh, git revert, not reset, revert. All right, and now, oh, I see. So we have some, yeah, before we can do that, we'll have to address the changes that we already have. So up here, yeah, we've got some changes where, uh, yeah, so we can't revert that until our get status is clean. So let's do a look at the working tree here and see what the differences are. So the differences, we added that JSONify, and then we built this out. So I never committed that change. Let's commit that, and then revert the port back to the original port given in the tutorial instructions. Okay, so git commit dash m, saving work. Not the best Git message, but it's just a tutorial. Sometimes you can't always have the best message, especially if it's just some small thing. It's always good to, oh, I see. So, okay, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Um, this is one of those things where get gets really confusing sometimes. It looks like I had a change remote that wasn't local. So I had to do a git pull to get the remote changes as a part of my local changes. So I did that, and now everything looks like uh, it's up to date. I don't have any commits left. Okay, so now let's try to revert that that commit. So it's going to be, I think it was this one. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what happens if I revert that. Okay, so we get a message here. We've got to fill out. There we go. And now let's do a get. Oh, okay. If you revert it, it just automatically commits. It automatically. Okay, I actually didn't know that, but let's do a get status. Okay, so we've got nothing um, there. We'll do a get push. Okay, so now we should be using that original port again. I'll go back and check that file because the import statement is probably missing from it now, but that's okay. It wasn't necessary. Yep, so we're using the original port now. Um, so I think this looks good. We just reverted that commit. So yeah, we still got JSONify. We've still got, oh, we got a breakpoint here. That's what that red dot means. I'm going to remove that. That just means to stop the code there, but we're not running the code from these source files. We ran it earlier, and yeah, we're running it outside of the debugger functionality, unfortunately. Okay, so let's try this again here. Oh, I get so confused because I don't like how it's collapsed together like that. I like seeing each one individually. Um, I wonder if there's a way to, all right. Well, we're still having this very strange error. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe this needs to be started up in a different folder. All right, so that looks good to me. Now I do have a change here, which I'm kind of surprised by. So it looks like this dump.rbf file is now present. It wasn't present before. So maybe that's good news, because maybe that means some processing took place that wasn't taking place before. Nope. What the heck? I'm so confused. Why doesn't that work? Well, let's look at the error messages a little bit more closely here. Okay, so we're getting the same connection refused error. Last time we got that error because we didn't have the Redis server running, but we have the server running now, so I'm not sure what's going on. Let me clear the terminal, if there's a way to do that. If there's not a way to do that, that's no good, because I really like clearing the terminal. Looks like there's not a way to clear the terminal. Well, that's no good. Oh, here we go. Clear. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so now we should see the terminal populate. Okay, with an error message, we know this is relevant because it's the only one on there. So, connection refused. Oh, that's interesting. It's still trying to connect to 5001, even though I changed it back. Why is it trying to do that? What if I do a control R, like that, and then submit? Nope, then still the same thing. It's probably still the same error message as well, trying to connect to 5001. Yeah. Why is it trying to connect to the wrong port? It should be connecting. I changed it back to connect to the other port. All right, well, let's search through the files for 5001, see if I forgot to change it back in some areas. Now, here we can see 6379 is there, but let's see if 5001 is there as well somewhere. Oh, I can't use the numpad for some reason. I can't use anything for some reason. It's frozen. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is weird. Why? I guess let's try restarting both of the servers, the Flash server and the Python Redis server. Okay, and I'm not sure which one to start first. Let's try starting the Flask one first, and then the Redis. And if that doesn't work, we'll try it in the opposite order. We'll do a Control R. That's a refresh that eliminates the cache. And then we'll do a submit. Ah, there we go. Okay, so I think the problem was that, um, well, I mean, clearly the problem initially was that I didn't have the Redis server started, but I think I made a change, and then that change wouldn't go into effect until the Redis server was restarted. So like there was a delta between like the code that was running and the actual like uh, settings in the Redis server. So I had to restart the server, and I'm not sure if it was the Redis server or if it was the actual Flask application that was running, but I had to restart those servers in order to use a new port. So now we can see in our debugging uh, output here, uh, which is here. Yep, everything looks a lot better. Okay, so I forget what I wanted to do initially. I kind of got sidetracked by that, but this is meant to be a troubleshooting video anyway, so it's kind of a good glimpse into how I troubleshoot there. So we're going to continue doing that by looking over this code, and we'll see um, if we can get something similar to this in the browser. Okay, so let's go to save the results and overwrite that. That's going to be in the app.py file. Now we do have a change here. This dump.rdb file is added. We can either include that in our source control or we can put it in the gitignore. Let's take a look at how big it is. Oh, I guess I don't see a easy way to do that. So it looks like it's just in this folder here. Yeah. So there it is. So ls-al dump.rdb. I gotta Google for a good way to see the size of files. Now, I thought you could do it with ls-al. I think you can do it with ls. Um, so definitely dash H is a good one because that makes it human readable. But let's see if there's another one to see the size of the file. Maybe classify. No. Um, let's just try an ls dash H on the file. And we'll do a dash L H, L for the long form. Okay, so yeah, that number was the size of the file. It was just wasn't in a human readable format. So adding that dash H, we can see it's 1.5 kilobytes. So I'm just looking out the window because people are people are trying to use well, anyway, let's keep focused. Let's keep focused here. It's just there's a public resource I get that like people have been trying to use, and it looks like the gate is still like it's still closed. Is why I'm. But I'm just curious if somebody could get in there because I'm just I'm just wondering why it's still not open. But let's focus on this. It's almost the 25-minute mark, so I want to do at least a half an hour before I decide to end the video. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to go to save the results and overwrite the section there. Okay, so we'll just overwrite this blanket overwrite, and we can see if there's any changes. They'll show up in the source control. Another thing we can do is just add like a superficial change like this, and then go in here and open a working tree, and then just see as we're working the differences. Uh, okay, so the files now match. So let's paste over this and see if there's any differences. And I'm going to have to open it in here. Oh, right, I forget. It shows up at the bottom. I always forget that. Oh, okay. All right, so this is step number, or number 4. It looks like the icons changed since I last looked at it. We're looking at this one, implementing a Redis task queue. So, and we're looking at this section that says save the results. All right, so we already pasted that in. We can see that created no differences in the file. Oh, because that's from an earlier section. Okay, so here's what we actually need to paste in. Okay, so we're going to remove a few lines. Uh, oh, uh, oh, right, I remember. It's the same thing except uh, uh, except for some reason they have an extra statement there. But that's okay. We can make that change. It's not necessary. It already imported that. But we'll just go with what's in the tutorial. So now let's modify this get results function that is wrapped in a app.route decorator. All right, so that was up to speed as well. So we only have the one change, which is importing that extra import statement that's not necessary anyway. Okay. And we do have this in there. All right, so let's try this again, and hopefully we have um, the right things showing up. Okay, and I'm going to commit these changes. And I'm not sure what to put in my commit message here. We'll say, oh yeah, changing to we'll say browser display JSON. Okay, looks like the public amenity is open and running, which means I might want to use it. But let's go and do something. Oh yeah, let's continue. Oh, so I misspelled origin. I'm trying to keep my head in the game here, but it's just doing a lunchtime and an after work video. Sometimes it gets to be a bit much. Okay, so we're good to go. Let's see if everything works now. Nothing worked. Not a single thing worked. So I think what's going on is if we think back to that first tutorial in the learning path. So if I search for Flask by example, and then I filter out my results so I get learning paths only. And then I go back to the very first tutorial, project setup tutorial. We're going to have a variable that we set up and it's going to be tied to, yeah, so we'll have a, yeah, this variable makes it so that when you make changes to the code, they're automatically brought into your running version of Flask. If you don't have that, then you make a change to the code, you have to stop and restart Flask in order for changes to go into effect. So let's try that. Let's stop and restart Flask, and then see if our changes go into effect. All right, so Flask is stopped, Flask is restarted. So let's try this out. I'm going to do a Control R just to refresh things, make sure we're starting from a good spot. Then I'm going to go there. Okay, so that's interesting. That didn't change anything. Let's try, oops, I'm not sure what happened here. Let's try restarting this as well. Still nothing. Am I getting an error message? No? Oh, I get it. I understand what's going on. So what's going on is that we're meant to follow the instructions from the last time, which is a little bit unclear. So we're not going to get a JSON output just by hitting the submit button, which is what I thought we would get. We get the JSON output by going to /results and then entering the ID associated with our post request. Oh, but now we can see we've got a problem here. We're getting nay instead of the JSON. So now we can troubleshoot this issue. But before I do that, let me check my .env file. Okay, so this is what I thought might have been missing. It looks like it's there. So that is just fine. Okay, so now what I'm going to do next is, oh, I don't even know. Oh, right. I'm going to troubleshoot So yeah, so we got a get here, but we can see we've got this nay message instead of the JSON. So if we go back to the code, we don't need a working tree anymore. We just want to look through the app.py file. And then we go down to the nay message. So clearly it printed out, it followed the else statement. So we want it to go here. So this job.isFinished evaluated to Boolean false. So we can print that out. So we'll do a print job.isFinished. All right, save that. Run the get. Send another get, and it should show up here in our debugging. So let's go back here, refresh that. That should be all it takes. Actually, never mind. It's going to take more than that. Okay, so now let's see if it printed out. It didn't. It didn't print out. Let's add an identifier here so that we know kind of more what we're looking for. So so we can grep based on it. Okay, so we'll say job is finished like that, and now we can look for that. All right, so let's try this again. Shoot. Why is this? Oh, no, it's acting the way I want it to. We got to grab the ID of the post request and then plug that in to the results URL. So we still got nay. Let's see if nope, and we still didn't get this printed out at all. Okay, that's too bad. But we can see this /results should, let's see here. So let's do a results. Yeah, so here's our URL that we're using. So we've got results, then job key. So there's one. Yeah, so this we're looking at the right part of the code. I mean, this is a little bit suspect to me. No, this should be right. We only need to do a get. So now get results, key, print. Not sure what's going on there. Let's try restarting the Flask server. I thought it wouldn't have to restart. It would just automatically work. Okay, now we need our job key, which is right here. And after we plug that in, hopefully we'll get this job is finished variable printing out. So yep, here it is. So job is finished is false. Another thing we could do is just put it right on uh, the page itself. If we go down here, return, instead of returning nay, we could return the variable and troubleshoot that way. But this is fine for now. I guess we've got to figure out why it's returning false. We should have it return true. I don't know if it just needs a minute or what the deal is with that. Maybe I plugged it in too quickly. No. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. I got to take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. All right. I'm back. Let's continue for a bit here. Oh my God. There's a lot happening outside my window today. There's a dude just standing staring at something. There's like nothing out there. The dude's like wearing like sandals and like really high shorts. This is like a really, like, what's he looking at? There's just a lot happening outside my window. Sorry. And of course, I'm not really um, focusing too well right now. So, okay, so we got our job is finished is false, um, which is interesting. Let's just print out the whole job um, variable. Okay, so it looks like we do have to stop and restart the server in order to get the latest code, which is unfortunate. I thought it could happen on the fly. I'm tempted to just try to issue um, that export statement again. Oh, shoot, I had it commented out. That's probably why it did. I don't think I have to restart the server. I think it just wasn't printed out because it was commented out. Okay, maybe I do because I don't see it now. Yeah, I want to go to the pool, but it's freaking, I don't know. I'm still kind of in half quarantine. I can't be in quarantine just all the time for the rest of my life, but let's see here. All right, let's keep focused again. Sorry, I'm almost at the 45-minute mark, so I think I am making progress here. So we'll just keep at this with for another 15 minutes. Try to keep focused, even though it's definitely been a challenge. Oh, I see. So okay, so here's our result now. So job is yeah, so we don't have a dot is finished anywhere. Like that's not a part uh, of this at all. We have so let's print out a few more things. So let's say diagnostics, like that, and then we're going to print out. Um, we're going to have more lines. So we'll do a large string like this. And then um, we'll say type job. Okay, and then okay, and I think you can do a dir on. Well, let's just start with type, and then we'll say output as well, like that, and then we'll do job as well, and we'll go with that. So save that, and then go through. I think all we're going to need to do is refresh now. No, we need to restart the server. But can I just refresh now? I can. Sweet. Okay. It's still a valid ID. Okay, so it's a class. So you can get the attributes of a class. You can definitely do a help to get attributes on a class, I think. Let's experiment with a class here. So we'll do Python, we'll do import OS, we'll do help, we'll do type OS. So it's a module, that's not a class. We got to get a class here. So OS dot system. So that's a class. Okay. So what if we do a dir on a class? Okay. What if we do a help on a class? Okay, then we get the built-in help. Is there attr to get like attributes? What if we print a class? Okay. So I think I'm going to do a help on the class. So we'll do help, and then we'll do help job, and hopefully that will help. Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got it. So we've got job. Yep. So that's what this is. So we've got dot fetch is what we're doing. So there should be some help for fetch. Don't see any. Let's try. Oh, here we go. So here we do have is finished. Okay, so it's not finished yet. It's uh, it's producing false instead of true. Okay, so free bonus. Get here. Click here to get to a free Flask in Python video tutorial that shows you how to build a Flask web app step by step. In part 5, we'll bring the client and server together by adding Angular into the mix to create a puller, which will send a request every 5 seconds to the /result/job key endpoint, asking for updates. Once the data is available, we'll add it to the DOM. I forget what that stands for, but I think that means we'll add it to the web page. But again, I don't remember what that stands for. So this is the very last thing we've got to do, and then we'd be moving on to the next part, to part 5. But we don't see this in the browser, and the reason is because the job .finished is not working. Okay, so I guess we can see the status. So let's try that. Let's do we'll do a status, and then we'll do job.get status. Okay. Queued. Huh. Okay. Why is it queued status but not? So let's do this same command again, multiple times. So we'll print out the status again after this block of code triggers. Okay, so we'll get the status twice, and we'll see if it stays in queued or what happens. What a nightmare. Okay, status is queued. Oh, you know what? There's return statements here. So I would have to add this before the return statements. Otherwise, the function will already be terminated by the time it goes to read that extra bit of code that I added. Okay, so this will be better. Okay, so the status is stuck in queued. What the heck? Why is it in queued? Why is it in queued? Yeah, it's not giving it enough time to complete. It looks like it needs more time. Like, because it's like here, like before it, like it needs time to finish. Like I guess I figured that it would only define this job variable once this was finished. So, but clearly it doesn't work that way. Like it can define the variable even while it's queued. Um, yeah, I'm confused. I don't I don't understand what's going on here. I'm running out. I was running out of steam a half an hour ago, and now it's been a half an hour more. So, I mean, one thing we can do is just we can basically hack it, um, and just change this to for now if true. So true is true, so it will run, and just see what happens when it runs. Oh, now we get an internal server error. That's no good. Okay. Let's try restarting the Redis server. Okay, and then we'll get a new everything. What a nightmare. All right, well, this is awful. I don't know what's going on. Um, oh, I guess I see what's going on. So we have an error here. Yeah, error in app. Um, so let's go to the end here. Okay, so we don't have this plugin, SQL Alchemy. Um, so let's troubleshoot this right now. Okay, so this requirement I think is missing. Let's do a pip install upgrade pip install. Okay. Let's do a pip install on SQL Alchemy again. If I do a cat requirements grab SQL Alchemy or grep -I. There we go. Um, you can see we have it, but we have version 1423. Okay. Which is fine. Oh man, what a nightmare. Can't load plugin. Oh, you know what? I always forget you can Google it right away. So this is a good clue here. Oh, I got this before. I got it for a different one. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah. I think. So I think what happened is I got rid of the extra code I added. So if I go to my GitHub, yeah, and then the flask-by-example repo. Flask-by-example. Oh yeah, this is it. And then I go down to the README. Um, yeah, I've got this here. So I gotta add this all the way here. Yep, to the dot there. And it goes in the config.py file. Yeah, when I did that revert, I reverted a bunch of changes. Well, oh, never mind. It actually is in there. No such module here. Uh, um, shoot. I think I gotta end the video. We're way well over the 1 hour mark. We're at the 106 mark, which is well over what I wanted to do. This was just meant to be a T-shoot video, so I might have to do some T-shooting off camera again, like I did before. But in the next video, we'll be starting the fifth tutorial, and if I figure it out, I'll add that to my Git repo as well for historical purposes. All right, so thanks for watching. See you in the next one.